Hello everyone. In 2001, Michael Bregman wrote a white paper titled The Deep Web, Serving Hidden Value, which may have inspired the use of nautical terms like a service, deep, and dark web. Bregman compared the searching on the internet to dragging a net across the ocean surface where much information can be caught, but there is still wealth of information that is deep and therefore is missed. This comparison led to the creation of various conceptual images of the different layers of the internet. Bregman's point is that a significant amount of the internet resources are not easily accessible through traditional means and may require specialized knowledge and software to access. As Daniel pointed out in his blog, these circles are not drawn to size based on usage, number of sites, or user base. They are representational and show that the internet is what all other networks use for the backbone of their communication. We should also mention that there are sites that may fit in multiple layers, but these are the exception to the rule. For example, the surface web or the internet is accessible by most users except where personal or corporate or national restriction prohibit access. It's a place where search engines like DuckDuckGo, Google, Yahoo, and Bing, and so on have a web crawler that scans all the systems they can find, indexing their data for us to search. The surface web mostly shares data with anyone retrieves the web or the system resources. While those search engines scan a good deal of internet resources, they miss many more. This group of missed services form the deep web. Why are these sites missed by the search engine? Actually, many reasons. Okay, so a lot of data remain outside the reach of crawler. Some, simple simulation are these sites may require authentication, or they may have a non-web content that web search engine don't collect. Within the deep web or unindexed web, we have the dark web. The resources in this part of the internet require additional knowledge and software to access. While the dark web is usually sort of a place of evil and criminal activity, there are many other legitimate reasons for using it. Most of the services that people use on the internet are found on the service web. It contains all the sites and services you can find linked from the search engine and social media and other sites. For example, you can use a search engine like Google, Yahoo, Baidu, and so on. You can use a commerce website like Alibaba, Amazon, Noon, news website like BBC, CNN, streaming and audio and video website like YouTube, Twitch, government pages like nas.gov or gov.uk, weather mapping site like weather.com or Bing Maps, social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and file sharing like Dropbox, Mega.mz, and so on. So when people reference the internet here, they are usually talking about, the stack, the surface, the deep, and the dark web stack. And it's simple to access and use. It's very, very easy. All you need to do is to have your internet browser, okay, like Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and so on, and just use your search engine to search for any website you want to access. So deep websites are accessible to anyone who knows where to look, and these websites and systems are generally not found in search engine results due to access restriction. Sites in this area can be free or paid. They can require authentication or not. Mostly they are services that are more challenging to find on the internet, and there is a fuzzy area between the service web and the deep web because a search engine indexes more sites. Some of the content in the deep web appears to shift to the service web. Other sites move the opposite direction if they add authentication to protect search engine from accessing their data. The dark web requires people to use a special software and have an understanding for how the particular dark web network operates. Most people think about criminals using the dark web. They are not the only people to do so. Overall, the dark web is a place for people to more anonymously communicate with others. If a person lives or works in a country where freedom of speech is not allowed, they can use anonymity of the dark web to get their message out to others. There are marketplaces in the dark web where you can buy and sell all manner of legal and illegal items from gun and drugs and service and so on. Finding site in some of the dark web network can be challenging since many dark web services may be private or hidden. You may need to know someone to get an invite to certain resources, but other dark web networks allow users to move from the internet into a dark web, bounce from system to system, and then come back to the internet to serve content more anonymously. In order to complete this part, here is a quick comparison between surface web, dark web, and deep web. So who can use surface web? Anyone. Who can use dark web? Also anyone. And who can use deep web? Government, law enforcement, privacy, criminal, and journalist. So let's have a quick example regarding this service. Service web, we have search engine, e-commerce site, news, streaming audio and video, weather site, and so on. Dark websites, we have here some examples like business network, bank, investment, financial, government, information about you, social media, and so on, especially the private pages. The deep web, anonymous browsing, anonymous communication, anonymous file sharing, forum about any topics, and criminal marketplace. Let's take a look at some of the reasons why you as an open source intelligence may need to visit the dark web. First, we have a curiosity. So what is it? You're figuring out if the data here could help your client. Maybe, one of your client got, data breach, for example, and his or her data got leaked on the dark web, for example, and you need to find this data. Second, protecting communication. Sometimes open source intelligence analysts may need to reach resources in countries that have an oppressive computer network policy. Also, using the dark web, they may be able to penetrate those networks and use network to retrieve useful information. Third, anonymization of traffic, and this is one of the main reasons many open source intelligence analysts use the dark web. It helps hide the source of their traffic, for example. Fourth, we have financial fraud with, marketplace. The dark web is ideal place for people who have a stolen credit card or bank account to sell their product. So, dark web is very, very interesting topic. And in the upcoming lecture, I'm going to show you how to find those data inside dark web. Back when the World Wide Web was invented, we didn't have a search engine like Google, Yahoo, and so on. We did not need them. You just only use your memory to remember the website you visited because there is a fewer website publishing content. As the World Wide Web grew, people started creating lists of their favorite website and publishing them. So they have a very, very basic website, have all the favorite website. Okay. In all days of the World Wide Web, we didn't have a search engine as I mentioned. And I'm going to show you here how, the first web page looks like. Okay. So yeah, here is the first web page as you see here. It's very, very simple, very, very basic, and we can use it as a favorite. So yeah, that's basically how the first web pages looks like. When the internet started, there were only a few sites. As its popularity and usefulness grow, people need method to catalog useful web resources as mentioned. They created lists and hyperlink to content. The deep web has this same issue. There are many resources on the internet that are not indexed by search engine that we need to keep track of. So how we do that? We do the exact same thing we did in the beginning. We make web pages that have hyperlink to that deep web content. Finding deep web resource can be accomplished by looking for these sites that list resources on the deep web. We find these reference in blogs, web articles, and other content that is indexed by major search engine. This is a pluripart between the service web and deep web. We can use search engine to find blogs that have content that reference deep web resources, but we cannot locate those results directly in a search engine. Using search engine like Google, Yahoo, Yandex, and so on, you can find a lot of useful resources regarding dark web. So simply we can open any search engine and add double quote. Okay. And I'm going to put my string here like dark web resources. And Google will give you a lot of useful information regarding the dark web resources. So if you want to find more information, more website, just visit this URL here. You will find a lot of useful information. I know there are an overwhelming number of websites you now need to check out. So I have here a good resources that help you to find information about anything you want. So let me start first with open source intelligent framework. So this website is very helpful. We have here a different categories that you can go and click. For example, if you're interested to find a username, just click on username icon, and we have a username search engine. Okay, so if you're wondering what T mean here, so you can go and read this one. And T mean terminals that you can use this tool from your Linux terminal, for example. D mean Google Docs, so it's advanced search query that you can use through a search engine. And we have R, it's required registration here. And we have M, okay, which gonna be a search term. So yeah, if you're interested in email address, just click on email address, and we have email search, email verification, breach data, and so on. I have here multiple GitHub repository. So we have open source intelligence. So I recommend to go and check this repo here, and also check this repo, open source intelligent team, okay, link. So this very interesting URL, I need from all of you to favorite these pages, and when you're stuck and won't find any information, just go and visit this URL. Also, Intel Technique blog, it's have a great resources that help you to find interesting information. Before we go any further, be warned that in the dark web, it's easy to find illegal, unethical, and disrupting content. If your work takes you into the dark web, you need to ensure that you are protecting yourself, your organization, and your computer system against any threat. Knowing the risk and preparing for them will help when you came across something that you need to report or take action on. The dark web is known to harbor individuals with harmful intention. If you plan to access the dark web, it's important to take precaution to protect your computer and personal information. Make sure your computer, system, and web browser are secure, updated, and equipped with a recent security software. Malware can be embedded into files that are offered for download, which can harm your computer and also harm your browser. Additionally, attacker may attempt to identify you or your organization. So stay vigilant and safeguard yourself and your organization by taking a proactive measure. And trust me, all the dark web corner monitored by law enforcement. So be aware of what you are surfing. When you become an open source intelligent analyst, sometimes you find yourself want to access the dark web to gather a lot of data that's gonna support you during your investigation and so on. And trust me, you must have a written approval from your manager, okay, in order to enter or visit the dark web to gather these data. So some manager will say it's fine and you should check with your legal department or your senior management. And yeah, you need to check your manager authority first. And trust me, you need to get approval for this work in writing before doing it. So yeah, that's very essential here. Comparing the top 3 dark web networks is challenging since they are quite different. We'll examine the network from 3 perspectives: the primary goal of the network, how big its user base is, and whether it allows access to internet web resources. Each of these overlaid networks has different primary goal. For the Freenet, it's a distributed file sharing network that breaks a file into pieces and scatters those pieces into retrievable sections across its network. This makes it impossible to remove content that is uploaded to the Freenet. I2P uses a series of temporal or one encrypted tunnel to transfer data from one system to the next system. Its goal to protect the data traversing its network and make it challenging to trace data back to a single source through a network traffic analysis technique. Tor is used to access internet sites in anonymous fashion by proxying network traffic across many systems. User data hops from computer to computer and eventually reach each destination. The destination site does not know where the original request came from, and so the user computer is anonymized. When looking at the estimated number of users for each network, understanding that Freenet has the smallest user base and Tor the largest, with I2P falling in the middle. There are rough estimates because getting an accurate reading of the number of users traversing an anonymous network become a quite challenge. The Freenet and for the most part I2P are closed network where you mainly access resources only on those networks and not the internet. And yeah, don't worry, we are going to cover these three in the upcoming module. Freenet is a peer-to-peer decentralized network that allows users to share and access information anonymously and securely. It was developed in 1999 by Ian Clark and is designed to provide a high degree of privacy and censorship resistance. The Freenet network operates over the internet and uses a distributed data store to store and retrieve content. When a user uploads content to the network, it's broken up into small encrypted chunks and distributed across the network. Other users can then download and reassemble the content from these chunks. One of the key features of Freenet is its focus on anonymity. Users can access the network without revealing their identity or IP address and can communicate with each other using pseudonyms. The network also includes a feature to protect against censorship, such as the ability to replicate content across multiple nodes to ensure that it remains available even if some nodes are taken down or blocked. Freenet has been used for a variety of purposes, including file sharing, messaging, and hosting websites. However, because of its focus on anonymity and privacy, it has also been used for illegal activity such as distributing copyrighted material and hosting illegal marketplace. So, what about Freenet storage? All nodes of the Freenet share a piece of a Freenet data, with each file being chunked into pieces and distributed to other nodes. Each node could have a content from any file, and you have the option to set, increase, or decrease the encrypted storage space on your hard drive that you are willing to donate to the Freenet within the Freenet setting. And you need to also be aware that if someone uploads classified or otherwise sensitive data to the Freenet, it will be encrypted and distributed to peer nodes here. Your computer may hold that content, but you may never know it. That's the power of Freenet. No user knows what data their system contains. Therefore, they cannot delete content from the Freenet, and authority cannot shut down the Freenet by removing some of the nodes. If content is popular on a Freenet, it can be propagated between nodes forever, moving from node to node as the people request the resources. When you start using Freenet, you will most likely wish to use it in the lower security OpenNet mode, where Freenet will automatically connect to seed node and then start connecting to other random node as time goes on. This is less secure than darknet mode because you have no idea who owns or runs the other nodes that your system attached to. There are two sub-modes for OpenNet. Lower security or low security is going to be the default and normal mode. And if you are using the OpenNet mode, consider moving to normal mode to increase your anonymity. As you use the Freenet mode or as your friend begin to use it, you can change it from OpenNet to darknet mode by specifying in your computer a Freenet setting to only connect to the node of your friends. Since you presampling knows these people, your level of trust increases, and it is much safer to use the Freenet. Darknet also has two settings as well, high and maximum mode. Okay, so let's now go and download the software which help us to access the free net. So here from -net.org, just click on the download icon. or the download button. And it depends on your operating system. You need to choose the installer. So if you're using Windows, just download the Windows version. I'm here using Windows, so I'm going to go download the -net for Windows. And it's really easy to install. It's using a wizard, so all you need to do is follow the instruction by clicking on next and finish button. So let me open the software, just scanning from my browser here and check if there is any malicious activity attached to it. So let me open the file, click OK. So we need to install Java. So I'm going to click on install Java. So here is a GRE with hotspot. So you can install both if you would like. So I'm installing here the Java run environment and also hotspot. Click finish, click yes, next. So creating a subfolder. I can also create a shortcut icon on the desktop, install. And we can now launch the Freenet. And in order to access the Freenet, all you need to do is go to your local host. So we can check 127.0.0.1 and we have port 8888 and everything is working now perfect. And in the next session, I will show you how to access resources from a Freenet. Okay, so let's now complete the Freenet setup. So as you see here, we accessed 127.0.0.1 port 8888, and we need to complete this task in order to use the Freenet. As you see here, you can add a Freenet friends if you want to connect to specific people you trust, not connecting to stranger network, for example. So you can press I know someone and so on. But here I will leave it as a default. If you have a monthly bandwidth limit, you can specify here the data. And if you want to, if you want anyone opens a Freenet page to enter password in order to access, you can specify the password from here. But I will leave everything as a default and click on save. And yes, I'm now good to go. So here is my Freenet page. So I can click on browse Freenet. I can upload the Freenet site. So we're going to share information about how to create a Freenet page for you and make your friend access it using different key and so on. Okay, everyone. So in last video, we saw how to set up the Freenet and complete installation process. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how to access the URL. So in order to access any Freenet URL, you're going to go to your F proxy here, 127.0.0.1, port 8888. And you need to specify something called Freenet key. And basically, Freenet key means that the file or the URL that you want to access. So for example, if you want to access an image, you need to specify the Freenet key of this image. And you can get this URL from your friend or from your stranger via, different communication channel and so on. And that's how the key actually looks like. Okay. And we have different types of key. So we have CHK or content hash key. And this key here, which allow you to, access static content like MP3, PDF, document, and so on. And as I mentioned, the URL will be static. So if you want to share this link, you will share the same link over and over and over. But what if you want to, upload a different file, but using the same URL? So here you can rely on SSK or USK, the signed subspace key, or updatable subsequence or subspace key. We have also KSK or keyword sign key here, which allow you to have named page in a Freenet. So you have now a good question. So what is the advantage of using a Freenet key? As I said, they provide anonymity for the data owner and requester, as they don't reveal any information about the identity or location or the party involved. They also provide security for the data, as they use encryption and digital signature to ensure the integrity and the authenticity of the data. And they also provide efficiency for the data retrieval, as they use hashing and routing algorithm to locate the data in network without relying on a central index. And as I mentioned, it provides flexibility for the data publishing and updating, as they support different type of key for different purposes, such as static, dynamic, and keyword based and updatable key, as we mentioned here: CHK, SSK, USK, and KSK. And it's really not hard to create a Freenet key. Okay, just open your Freenet software once you complete the installation from the Hyphenet website. So open your browser interface, go to upload page or file, and once the page completed, it will give you a unique URL in order to share it with your friend here. So it is not a complicated process, but I will show you how to use and follow these steps. So let's browse together the Freenet and see how to use it. So as you see, 127.0.0.1 port 8888 would be the F proxy here, and you can access anything using this F proxy. And here's the default page, as you see, but you're gonna have some error because there is no friend, there is no note announcing, and there is no plugins that I've installed. You can also access URL via bookmarks, and we have some starting point here, which they recommend. We have some documentation, we have team blogs, and so on. And if you have the key of the files that you want to download, for example, you can insert the key here and click on fetch. So what if you want to download something? So let me show you. From file sharing, you can click on download and specify the URL or the keys that you want to download. You can also upload file. Let me show you here. So from share site, you can create a website. Okay, from this icon, click on share site, and you will be presented with this page. Click on create a new free website or free site and follow the instruction, and now you have a website published on a Freenet. Also, if you want to dealing with a file, for example, just click on file sharing, upload file, and here you can upload the file you want, for example, from your desk. So it is not really complicated to use a Freenet, and I recommend to go and check bookmarks and become familiar with the Freenet browser here. Also, Freenet can offer multiple services like mail and forum, and you can access forum by clicking on discussion here and click on forums. And there is also a great website called darknetlive.com. It's a great website with many tutorials that help you to configure the service you want. The Invisible Internet Project, or I2P, is really complicated, and it's also highly encrypted network overlay for regular internet. While there are instances where user can access hosts on the internet, most of the resources that I2P users access are only accessible from inside the network. The goal of I2P is allow people to visit network resources anonymously and prevent others, like government, for example, and corporation, from eavesdropping on the traffic transmitted across I2P. It also uses 3 and 4 layer of encryption, multiple hubs, and one-way tunnel to achieve its goals. Okay, so what people use I2P for? So they use really I2P for various purposes, like browsing the web anonymously using the built-in HTTP proxy, which allow access to both regular internet and the hidden service inside the I2P. And it's called EEP sites or EEP sites. They can also use I2P for chatting with other users using the built-in IRC clients that connect to several IRC network inside the I2P, or using other chat applications such as I2P Messenger or Rig Chat Refresh. They can also share files with other users using the built-in BitTorrent clients that support both ClearNet and I2P Torrent, or using other file sharing applications like I2P Snark or MU Wire, for example. They can host a service inside I2P, like they can host a website in Ape site, as I mentioned, email server, blog, forums, wiki, and more. And they can also register their own .I2P domain or use a naming service such as reg.I2P or name registry. They can develop software for I2P using GitLab service that hosts many I2P projects, or using other development tools such as Get over BitTorrent or I2P Control. I2P create one-way tunnel on each node. A tunnel can either be outbound, sending the traffic to other destination, or it can be inbound and accept the traffic. Each node has numerous inbound and outbound tunnels that are created and torn down every 10 minutes. And that's very, very important because it prevents here eavesdropper from executing a traffic analysis attack against node traffic to determine which node certain content came from. In this image here, as you see, traffic from Alice to Bob would flow from one of her outbound tunnel, which represented here in pink, and hop to at least 2 other routers on the way to its destination at Bob's system. And it would hit Bob inbound tunnel, which represented here in green, and then be decrypted and consumed by Bob destination application, which could be email, IRC, web browser, and so on. Return traffic would flow from Bob outbound tunnel, which represented in pink, as I mentioned, to Alice inbound tunnel in green. Okay, everyone. So in this video, we're going to install I2P. So in past, in order to install and configure I2P, it's very, very difficult process. But today I'm going to show you how to easily install the I2P using a Tor browser or any Firefox browser. So you can download Tor browser from torproject.org, and it's built on a Firefox browser. If using Windows, you need to install the Windows version. If using Mac, you need to install or download the Mac version. If using Linux, you need to go and download the Linux version and install it. But as you see here, I'm using Windows, so I'm gonna click on download for Windows, and I will show you how also to install I2P with Tor browser. So we have a dedicated session for Tor later. Okay, so I'm gonna install Tor. Okay, install. And I will leave a shortcut into my desktop so I can easily access Tor from my desktop here. So I2P have a new mode called Easy Install Bundle for Windows. So I prefer to go with Linux configuration if you're looking for the ultimate anonymity. But for now, we are going to use Windows. So I'm going to use the I2P Easy Install Bundle. So I'm going to click on this link here in order to download it. And it starts the download bar. So yes, I will trust this. So click on keep, show more, keep anyway. Let's now install the I2P Easy Bundle. Click on OK. I agree. Install. So you read carefully the agreement here. Contain a lot of useful information, so be careful. Click Next and click Start I2P. Okay, click on Private and Public and allow access. And now we see the I2P. I'm using Firefox to load, which is great. So I'm gonna click Next. You can choose the themes that you want, light or dark mode. So I'm gonna go with dark mode now. So let's click Next. So here's the bandwidth test. Click Next and wait until this verification end. Click Next, everything's worked perfect. And here's the bandwidth configuration for you, which is very good for me right now. Click Next and click Finish. And as you see now, we can access the I2P router console using the localhost and port 7657. And we have the bandwidth, input and output, and we have the data used and so on. And we can really access a lot of application here and community site, but let me show you something very useful. I have a great link here called I2P links, which contain a lot of useful link as you see here. So we have eBsites. It is a premier search engine for I2P, so we can copy the link and start check if the link is working perfect in order to check our configuration. I can also go to planet.i2p and see. So yeah, it's working now perfect. So our configuration now working fine without any issue. And as I mentioned, you can view different website here by copy and paste the URL. Here is the Planet. As I mentioned, it's a plug to check first when you install the I2P in order to check if there is any misconfiguration. And I recommend to go and play with all these URL here in order to become familiar with the sites and the process of I2P. The Tor network has three relays: an entry or guard relay, a middle relay, and an exit relay. And these relays are also called node or routers and allow network traffic to pass through them. First, we have entry or guard relay, and this relay provides an entry point to the Tor network. When attempting to connect via an entry relay, the IP address of client can be read, and the entry relay or guard node transmits the client data to the middle node. Second, we have the middle relay, and the middle relay is used for transmission of data in an encrypted format. It receives the client data from an entry relay, and it passes it to an exit relay. Three, we have an exit relay. As a final relay of Tor circuit, the exit relay receives the client data from middle relay and sends the data to the destination website server. The exit relay IP address is directly visible to destination. In the event of transmission of malicious traffic, the exit relay is suspected to be the criminal here, as it is perceived to be the origin of such malicious traffic. The exit relay face the most exposure to legal issue, takedown notes, complaint, and so on, even when it's not an origin of malicious traffic. And please note that all above relay of the Tor network are listed in public list of Tor relay. The Tor browser is based on Mozilla Firefox web browser, and this browser functions based on a technique of onion routing, in which user data is encrypted with multiple layers that are akin to a layer in an onion, or subsequently the data is sent through the several relay of Tor network. When user data with multi-layered encryption pass through different relay of the Tor network, one layer of encryption over the data is decrypted at each successive relay. When the data reach the last relay in a Tor network, the exit relay or the final relay here of the encryption is removed, after which the data reaches the destination server. The destination server precedes the last relay of a Tor network, that is the exit relay, as the origin of data. So, therefore, the Tor network is extremely difficult to identify the origin of data through any surveillance system. The Tor network, or the Tor browser, keep users' data and information about website and servers safe and anonymous. The Tor browser provides access to the Onion website available on a dark web, and also Tor Hidden Service Protocol allow users to host website anonymously with .pit domain, and this website can only be accessed by a user on a Tor network. The Tor relay nodes are publicly available in directory list, but the bridge node is different from relay nodes. Bridge nodes are nodes that are not published or listed in the public directory of Tor nodes. Several entry and exit nodes of the Tor network are publicly listed, accessible on the internet. Consequently, they can be blocked by organization or government if they wish to prohibit the usage of Tor. In many authoritarian countries, government, internet service provider, and corporate organization ban the use of Tor network. In such scenario where the usage of the Tor network is restricted, bridge nodes help circumvent the restriction and allow users to access the Tor network. And the usage of bridge node makes it difficult for government, organization, and internet service provider to censor the usage of the Tor network. So, how bridge node help circumvent restriction of the Tor network? Bridge node exist as a proxy in the Tor network, and not all of them are publicly listed in the Tor directory of nodes. Several bridge nodes are concealed or hidden. The internet service provider, organization, and government cannot detect their IP address or block them, even if the ISP here, the internet service provider, and organization detects some of the bridge node and censor them. User can simply switch over the other bridge node. A Tor user transmits traffic to the bridge node, which transmits it to guard node as selected by the user. Communication with a remote server occurs normally. However, an external node of transmission is involved. The bridge node here, the use of concealed bridge node as a proxy helps users to circumvent the restriction placed on the Tor network. Tor can be helpful in increasing user anonymity, but that does not mean it is a safer place than the internet. It suffers from some of the same problems we run into each day on the internet, and some of these are listed here alongside. Several specific issues that privacy-minded users will want to keep in mind as they use Tor. First, we have some files that we are downloading from Tor. Yes, they might be malicious, for example. Maybe there is a malicious JavaScript code in PDF file, or maybe someone tried to exploit a vulnerability in Adobe Reader, Foxit Reader, and so on. Also, you need to use HTTPS when possible. Stay in the dark web by using hidden service. Don't use personal information, and avoid using internet site with logging from Tor. While the Tor network can be helpful in increasing anonymity, since many criminals use it, law enforcement and intelligence agency and other may monitor traffic passing from one node to another to try to perform analytic on what system are sending and receiving traffic from which other system. In 2016, two researchers at Northeastern University found 110 Tor nodes were collecting data that they should not be. Tor to Web is a software project that allows anonymous surfing of the web and access to Onion server. The main difference between Tor and Tor to Web is with Tor to Web it is not necessary to use a Tor browser, which means here a user can access Onion site from any browser like Google Chrome, Firefox, and so on. So let me explain actually how Tor to Web work. So whenever you see a web address ending in .onion, it means that it's a Tor service. And in order to open them, you need to use a Tor browser. However, with Tor to Web, the first thing it does is to replace the URL. For example, we know .onion, we can replace this extension here with onion.to, onion.ceti, onion.cab, or any of domains that are made available to Tor.web volunteer operator, as you see here. So it's important to note that while Tor.web allow you to access Onion service without the need for the Tor browser, it does not offer the same level of privacy and security as using the Tor network directly. And the Tor network encrypts information on entry and decrypt it on exit. And it works through a multiple nodes as we saw before, which make it difficult for anyone to determine the initial connection. So Hunchly, it's really a great tool. It's a scanner which scan the dark web and find hidden service. And really, this tool it's really popular among law enforcement, the cybersecurity people, or the people working in open source intelligence, especially in dark web monitoring and investigation and so on. And we're going to use this tool later in our course, and it's really very simple to download. Just click on Get Hunchly now, and let me show you the process here. So we're going to use a free version right now. We're gonna have a license for a free trial, 30-day trial. And if you're interested to buy the full year subscription, it's gonna cost you around $130. So we are going to stick with a free trial. Click on Start a Trial. You need to specify your name. For example, here's my name. And I'm gonna use my InfoSec account. You can select the industry, cybersecurity, and you can click Start now. And once you complete the process, you will receive an email from Hunchly team with the license. Let me show you. Yeah, I already registered, but you will get a page which asking you to download Google Chrome and download Hunchly. And later in our course, I'm going to show you how to install Hunchly and using Tor as a proxy while you're using Google Chrome. There will come time when your organization or client need you to monitor a person or a group. And this is where the internet monitoring and alerting come into focus for our open source intelligence work. Depending upon your client or organization goal, you might be tasked with examining certain websites for changes, for example, finding out if your company data has leaked to, paste sites, monitoring activity of groups or people via their social media and news report, or seeing what your company competitor are doing, for example. And we are going to answer all of these questions and complete this task later during this chapter. In this video, let me show you very interesting website, and really this website used a lot by people working in open source intelligence, red teamer, blue teamer, and so on. And this website called Have I Been Born? Why this website is really interesting? Because it's contained a database of leaked email address and so on. And if you are going to attack, for example, a company, or if you're working in, open source intelligence, for example, or a threat intel, and you need to check if these emails already leaked or not, so you can use this service. So I can put here any email, for example, and I can click now on Pond, and as you see, this red color mean here, this email already leaked, okay? And this email leaked in different database, in Dailymotion, Kayo.moe, and Twitter. So imagine that we know this email is already leaked on a dark web in multiple hacks, okay? And really, we can go and purchase this database from dark web, or maybe from a Telegram channel if it's available on Telegram. And really, we can use this email address and send a malicious email, for example, or maybe login into his inbox and see what's the information that he used if we acting as a red teamer or a malicious actor here. So as I mentioned before, I'm not recommend to use this information, without consent. So please stay with the consent here, or the written approval. When criminals break into a web application and steal user email and password, many times they will release that data on sharing websites. Others will retrieve the dump data and store it. Later, when someone wants to compromise an account on a specific system or of a certain user, they will open those data dump and search for an appropriate breach set of credentials. Reusing the usernames and password on other websites may yield valid login if the user has used the same credential across different sites. We can use this information for open source intelligence too. Understanding how data is related can be helpful in our search for other accounts that a user has where they use a specific email. Or if the user made a unique password that few others use. We might search in this DOM for other account where that specific password has used, and this could give us unrelated email account where these targets use the same password. Let me show you another website which we can use in order to monitor a specific domain. And this is a very interesting service. It's called the Spy Cloud. And if I'm interested in a specific company, I can put one of their email address here, and Spy Cloud will return with data regarding if this company, for example, already got data leakage. So I'm gonna put John at a Spy Cloud here .com, and I can click on see your report here, or see my report. And actually, Spy Cloud is similar to SOC Radar if you used SOC Radar before. And as you see here, we got information regarding this specific domain, Spy Cloud. And we have 17 executive credential leaked, 2% of password reuse. We have 130 third-party data breach record. And the last attacks was in 8 days ago, or the most recent exposure. So this tool, it's very useful, very handy. You can use and you can utilize in order to detect if there is any data leakage regarding a specific company, for example. And yes, this service is free if you want to get or receive a demo report, for example. And you can also use another tool like Dexpose and so on. We still have a lot of tools that we're going to cover later in the upcoming videos. Finding someone's password is not really a big or hard task. All you need to do is just checking a great website. It's called dhash.com. So dhash.com, as you see here, we have 14 billion of compromised account here. And really, you can search the email address you are interested in. For example, we can put, for example, John at example.com, and let's see if there is any data related to this email address. And yes, we have 468 results already found. And you can click on this, output or this rectangle here, and it will display the credential of this email address. But as you see here, you need to have an active subscription. So in order to get an active subscription, you need to go to payment, okay, and insert your credit card data and so on, or you can check also the price from the pricing tab here. So I know it's very, very important for the people working in open source intelligence, or the people who try to monitoring malicious actor, for example. And really, it's a great website which contains tons of data. There is a website called Have I Been Pwned, and you can check if this email address already leaked or not leaked, and you can check later the hash in order to obtain the password related to this email address. OCCRP, it's really a great website, and I will show you why right now. So this website is founded in 2006, and it's the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, and it's designed to facilitate storage and sharing of source for journalists investigating crime and corruption around the world. At its core, the online system contains thousands of breached email, stolen documents, public data, and sources that can assist in investigative work or searching for people, event, location, and other topic of interest, and retrieve text matches. And then retrieve the document and email that the match were discovered in. Let me show you how this website really works. So I'm here inside the OCCRP, and you can type whatever you want here. So I'm interested in Kim Jong-un right now, so I'm gonna just type his name between double quote, and as you see here, this is all the data related to Kim Jong-un or Kim Jong-un and so on. And really, you can go and navigate between these leaked data, for example. So we have US South Korea relation. We can click on this one, and it is a document, and really we can go and read through its pages here. It's leaked in 2007, or this mandated or written in 2017. And you can navigate between, papers here and so on. If you're interested in anyone, country, language, email, phone number, names, address, and so on. So you can pick your finger and go. So this is very, very amazing website, and recommend to give this website a try here.